I recorded all these videos, well, apart from the first 4 or 5 months in 2013, we're using a Canon leg rear camcorder, which is a super little camera. The only problem is that it doesn't record, and you can't pause and record and carry on with the recording. When you do that, it records the separate videos, and you have to put them together, and I can't really be bothered to edit them. It takes too long. And I was in Wilkinson's, one of our family-owned stores, chain stores, in the UK, and they had for sale a webcam, which I used to use when I first started doing all this, and it was high, I would say high definition, but it was of good resolution, but it said in small print for Windows XP and Vista. I thought, well, they're obsolete, so maybe that's why the camera's so cheap. It would have done me ideal. I would love to use it with Windows Movie Maker, because you can then record straight onto your computer and pause and go and make a cup of tea, come back and carry on. And it was brought to life, and I've just scrapped a demo because I had to stop halfway through because the door went and I was expecting a package, and I didn't really want to do it in two parts. So anybody got any ideas about Canon camcorders? And there's not a problem, it's probably not designed to do what I'm using it for, but the great little thing. Right, okay, I'm going to make something up here. Why don't I have some grub? So this is on the back of the failure. I'm not going to bore you with what it was like. So just wet. Usual palette of lemon yellow, raw sienna, alizarin crimson, night red, ultramarine, burnt umber, Payne's grey and burnt sienna. And I keep it nice and moist in a Ziploc bag. There we go. Get them easily online or in good office suppliers, material suppliers. Right, okay, so let's do the usual wet with and tint with sienna. Just sweep it in. It gives it a uniform warmth all over, and warms the whole thing up as well. And we'll put in a bit of blue and a bit of alizarin, because it kills the intensity of the ultramarine. And then a bit of light red in there, a bit of cloud coming down, and a bit darker just to get a bit of a shadow under the clouds. Okay. Right, I'm thinking of just doing another Lakeland scene really to see what happens to it. This gives a bit of movement in the sky. Reflects what's going on outside at the moment with 40-50 mile gusts, at least in the south of London. We were going on our bike ride along the River Wandle to Merton Abbey and back this morning, but it's a bit unsafe for us old guys, so we called it off. Right, I'll just take off the excess water, moisture on the bottom here. Okay. Right, okay, that should dry nicely. I'm thinking of starting to put more reds in the skies, but another day maybe. I'll give that a little dry, so just take your headphones off. that's not dry, that's just taken a bit of the shine off the paper while I put the background in. So let's break a habit of a lifetime and use a bit of alizarin and blue in the background. Catching a bit of light against the dark. This is, if it works, they're so easy to do. And I like doing them anyway. And we just make them up really. Bit of yellow. Just warming up things as we go. Okay, let's put a bit of dark in there. Nice thick paint from that I squeezed out last night. Right, let's put a bit of reflection in there now. Right, so nice still water there, bit of calm in there, and then we'll a bit more of a shadowy colour on the other side. Alright, let's put in some trees on the top here. Okay, let's use the card on there and just right, bit of bit of a beach in there. And we reflect the dark green. We use very thick paint here. I like using the card. It's I'm going to change this a little bit. I'm going to take out some of that reflection and make it a bit of a beach. Still, I think it's a bit heavy for a. So let's. I'm using a Payne's grey and lemon yellow to give enough dark there to scrape out. But I want some siennas and I see a bit of blue in there. Right, we'll put the similar sort of effort into here. I'll try not to repeat myself, but it looks like I am. Right, let's little tiny bits, just to little goes a long way. Right, okay, now we've got to separate the two sides now. So I'll put some dark on the right hand side now, and so I just burnt sienna, Payne's grey, and a bit of lemon yellow. Right, so we're just trying to create some more sort of interest on the, but trying to make them different. Otherwise, it makes for monotony. We've got to connect. Right. Okay, so that might be just a little bit too light. I might just go over that, but maybe a bit of so let's have a bit of a try and keep this a bit random looking, but I don't want to repeat, because see, I'm doing the same there as I'm doing there, so I'm going to take one back the other way. If I move that up there, I'm going to just put in some dark. Bit of texture now on here. Payne's grey mixed with burnt sienna, because they're beautiful, beautiful dark. But your paint do need to be nice and loose rather than dry. But this is a compromise. I was using the paint dry for a couple of years, but since Maria gave the great idea of using a Ziploc bag, you don't have to waste the paint. You can keep it nice and moist. When I was using this palette years ago, I forget what's on it at the moment, the grandson, but I used to squeeze out the tube paint and paint straight from that, as Ron Ranson showed us all those years ago, 35 years ago or more. But then you really wasted a lot of it by scraping it all off, and go through tubes like nobody's business. Still all student quality. I mean, these are all Cotsman watercolours, 21mm tubes. It's a great way to buy them. Right, I will use the rigger in a minute, but I want to just, I've got to do some leaves on there, and we'll put in, well, let's do some greeny stuff on here. Cover up some of those, bit of detail. See, my paint is really stiff now. Bit like I might have been if I'd done the bike ride. Okay, so we've now got to do the detail now. I'll put the leaves on those. I'm not sure if that background shows up. It looks very distant, but maybe I'll put something on that middle, this along that horizon. So a bit of blue, bit of alizarin, but just a bit darker than I had. Oops, going downhill. Right, amazing how fine you can go with the hake. Right, let's just going to give it a good dry now and break it up. And well, before I do, I just want to put a bit of water on the palette. Look, loads of different points, so we can get the random wintry type leaves at the end of these. Don't want to obliterate the background on this one. Right, now to the rigger. That'll do for that. Rigger. Put in some grasses. This is the bit that turns it into a reflection, really, by repeating yourself. It's just in the edge of the brush, and I'm just using the back of the brush as well, like that, right where it goes into the ferrule, and just dragging down. A bit over here. I'm going to put some boats in, and a bit of dry brush. Oh, a little bit of justify all those leaves, so put some twiggies. Right, let's put in, see on that horizon here, let's just thicken up a bit there. Right, now then, a couple more things to do. I'll just dry this off, take your headphones off. Right, I'm going to lift out the sail, or two, or three, and do it here. A bit wet there, so I'll have to just Put some detail in there. Right, I'll just give that a quick dry, then some dry brush. Or just some reflection. I'm using 2 hakes here. So let's just get the reflections going from there. Right, just put that in there. Right, that's about it. Oh, I can't do any more to that. I'm getting hungry. Alright, let's have a couple of birds. Right, put it in the bloom out and have a look at that. Put it in another Lakeland scene. Oh, there we are. That looks alright. Quite pretty. Might be a little mud because I changed my mind about what I was going to do. These were going to be reflections, but I changed my mind and put a bit of beach. They're a bit dark, but hey, that looks alright on the screen. Let's have a... You might not think so, but I think that's quite a reasonable little job. Well, I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Thanks for watching. Leave any comments or anything you want to know, just ask. Bye for now.